What's going on, guys? Welcome to a spooky edition of the Streaming Wars. My name is Mike. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining me, as always, is Jacob.
Hey, everybody. What is up?
And returning once again, Tyler.
Yo.
Now, as we said, tonight's edition of the Streaming Wars is more because we're a week away from Halloween. We figured this is the perfect time to talk about the spookier side of film and television. Yeah, you didn't think I'd leave this off the list. The very first thing we're starting with is Netflix's The Haunting of Bly Manor, the second season in Mike Flanagan's Haunting anthology. Tyler, I'm gonna start with you. First of all, your thoughts on Haunting of Hill House, and how does Bly Manor compare? Not that they're comparable story-wise, but just your own personal take.
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say. Hill House. I'll be honest. I went in with the rock bottom expectations because I'm a big fan of the Shirley Jackson novel, and of course the legendary 1963 movie based on the book The Haunting. So when I saw that Netflix was doing an adaptation, I was pretty pessimistic. I hadn't actually seen any of Flanagan's work at the time, so I went like, okay, how are you going to screw this up? And then I saw the first episode and went, oh, well, this is interesting. And then it kept my attention through all 10 episodes, and I walked away quite impressed. It maybe had a little bit of a flat ending, but now whatever. It was a wonderful series that is both scary, but also quite emotionally satisfying, which is not really common for horror. Mike Flanagan knows how to make a character you like. This is a very important thing to know. And in that series, it ended off pretty well, and everyone liked it. And the studio, Netflix, immediately went, "Hey, make more of that." And Mike Flanagan, who's actually a stand-up guy, said, "No, I'm not gonna do another series. This is it." But then he went, "Well, wait a minute. Maybe I can adapt another horror book and make it in a vein of that." And that's what we got here. This is an adaptation of the Henry James novel, The Turning of the Screw. So he has a theme of adapting Gothic horror novels now.
I think what I like about Bly Manor is that it's not just an adaptation of The Turning of the Screw. He kind of peppers in other Henry James stories. Like he somehow got in the Jolly Corner, which is probably not my favorite episode of the series, because it's one of those supernatural instances that doesn't quite line up with the story as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the weaker episodes, but that's something else to do with Hill House a little bit, which was each episode's like a character story. And also some of that was also taken from a couple of Jackson novels. Like I think I noticed like We All Live in the Castle was briefly a little bit in one of the episodes, but this one, it's like straight up a lot of novels by Henry James, and each character more or less gets a backstory episode, and they're pretty good for the most part. I think episode 3 or 4? Like I said, it was probably the weakest one, but it hit its stride, just like Hill House in the center, where you got like episode 5, which is a really solid one.
Yeah, episode 5 of Bly Manor is like it's up there with, I think it was episode 6 of HBO's Watchmen, that I think is like one of the greatest single episodes of television that I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah, and it's centered on a conclusion that's not hard for the audience to figure out, but it's not exactly, that's not the point. It's more about the character's experience to that conclusion, which is everything about the series. It's all about the character first. Like plotting, sometimes matter. Scares, it's sometimes scary, but that's not the point. It's the characters. Literally every single motive was done with the characters in mind. That's all the season is. It's all about the characters, which they're all great.
Jumping off what you said about the scares, one thing that's been bugging me about people trying to compare Bly Manor to Hill House is their biggest criticism is that it's not as scary. And while I've never been one to criticize a horror film for not being scary. What I like about Bly Manor is that it seems like that was never the intention. Other, like, outside of a few like genuinely disturbing moments, um, this is really, at the end of the day, a love story, and a
Yeah.
really damn good one.
Absolutely. And the critics that thought it was just a horror story, I think you missed the last spoken line of dialogue, which is about as close you can get to a fourth wall break from the writer to the audience, because it conveys
Exactly.
exactly what it is.
Speaking of that, what did you think of Carla Gugino totally faking a British accent,
Oh,
but playing the narrator of the series?
one, I love that they didn't actually reveal that she was in it up to like 10 minutes before the show premiered. That's awesome. Two, yes, I have some British friends. They were just basically laughing on the floor, going, "That's a British accent. What are you doing?" And yeah, it's kind of awful, but it's a charming bad, kind of like well, Mary Poppins in that kind of respect. Where it's like,
I wish I
yeah,
could hear that.
it's like
I wish I
for-
could hear your British friends just ripping apart the accents.
yeah. Also, there's some complaints about like a Scottish accent one character does, which I didn't think was that bad, but I'm not Scottish, so I can't judge. But even I could tell that British accent. Oh no, this is some nonsense. But the character is really good, and the performance is well done. It's just simply the accent. Yeah, if you're British and you don't like that accent, I can't really be mad at you.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot usually those who speak the native tongue will be a lot more critical than, say, a dumb American who, I'll be honest, I am so in love with Carla Gugino as an actress that she could read the phone book and I'd call it like the greatest performance.
Oh yeah, at this point she basically can play anything. She's your wife, she's your mom, she's your grandma. She can do whatever she wants, and you're gonna like her because she's just so effortlessly charming.
My second favorite episode of the season is episode 8, The Romance of Certain Old Clothes. And it's a flashback that kind of tells like the origin story of the, the main ghost that's haunting everyone. And this is the one episode where Flanagan's wife, Kate Siegel, makes an appearance, and she's so good. She's so good as that sort of like jealous and vengeful character.
Oh yeah, like this also needs to be said. Just kind of like how American Horror Story works, is a lot of reoccurring actors in between Hill House and Bly Manor, but you never kind of mix them up. Like, what was the it was the guy who played Luke. I think Jackson Cohen. I think his name was. I forget his middle name. Oliver Jackson Cohen. That was it.
Yep.
That guy, like, oh, he's like most down on his luck, likable guy in that first season. Here, oh no, he kind of is the most loathsome person, but he does it so effortlessly you never think, oh, it's just that guy playing that role again. And the same here, it's like the character that Kate Siegel plays here, not remotely similar to Theo in that first season, completely different. And actually, I'm pretty sure, wasn't her sister also someone from Hill House? I think that was Jessica Kennedy, who was
Victoria Pedretti. She plays Nell in Hill House, and now she's the main character, Danny, in Bly Manor.
Yeah, I meant by the sister in the flashback episode. I think that's the lady who played the ghost of the 1920s ghost in Hill House.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the same actress.
The fact we're not even sure says a lot. Like, well, you play that role about as different as you could get. That episode actually, I actually read some critics. They thought that episode was actually kind of a bit of a pace breaker. I can kind of see that, but I'm like, yeah, I didn't mind. I thought it was a great episode.
I'm also just a sucker for flashbacks like that. It's I know the obvious comparison to episode 6 of Watchmen is that they're both told in black and white, but but they're both really good flashback episodes. So it's a shallow comparison, but a comparison nonetheless.
Yeah, honestly, and it's just amusing to me. But episode 8 features a plague doctor prominently, which is hysterical because I'm taking a historical medicine class right now, and the front cover of the book is a plague doctor. So I kind of just laughed when I know what
Nice.
they're gonna do for humors and bloodletting. Oh, look, they did.
Now, Jacob, I know you're not really a big TV guy, but
Yeah.
but would you ever consider checking out either of these series?
Yeah, actually, hearing how much passion you guys are, I trust your taste in certain media, and I'd like to give these shows a try.
Oh yeah, with Hill House, I'll say it starts off a little, but then when it gets to like 4, 5, and 6, then it hits its stride. But then when you get to the end, lower your expectations a little bit because the ending is not a 100% nailed it. Blind Manor though actually really nails the ending in a emotionally satisfying manner that actually, if anything else, made me more teary eyed than scared. But that was the intent.
I agree with that. I'm much more invested in the end of Bly Manor because like I said, the love story between Danny and Jamie was incredibly emotional and just so well executed that
Yeah, and that actress has never done anything. I'm like, I want this lady's name, her phone number, her address. I want her to get all the scripts now.
yeah, her name is Amelia Eve, and quite literally, like outside of a few short films, she was plucked out of obscurity.
Yeah,
And
she's going.
and that's
places.
awesome because that's exactly what happened with Victoria Pedretti. Mike Flanagan just like basically plucked her out of thin air, and
Yeah.
from there, like she's gotten a few more bit parts. Like she was one of the Manson girls in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. And this is almost, I almost have to assume as an in joke. Victoria Pedretti showed up in the movie about Shirley Jackson this year, the Shirley movie with Peggy from Mad Men. Yeah, she was in that. I really hope the executives were like, pick that lady that was in that Hill House show.
Either that or it's just a massive coincidence.
Well, it happens. I mean, like that's like the guy who played Charles Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was picked to be Charles Manson in the Mindhunter TV show, and they were completely independent. Well, he would be good to play Charles Manson. Oh, wait, didn't I play this role?
He didn't tell them?
No, he literally got picked by 2 separate people independently to play the exact same role in the same year. It was weird.
Yeah, it does sound weird. Yeah, I actually was trying to, like, I was tempted to give these shows a watch, but I have been kind of busy lately this past week, which is unfortunate because I really did want to, just so I would love to be a part of this conversation between you guys, but again, I was just swamped this week, but I will definitely give these shows a try.
Oh yeah,
yeah, totally understandable.
You won't regret it at all. In fact, the most fun I'm having now at the moment is guessing what's this 3rd season gonna be, because Mike Flanagan already said this is enough of a hit to make a 3rd one, and he already has an idea, and he's not telling. And I'm like, ooh, what's it gonna be? Is it gonna be the Canterville ghost? Is it gonna be the Woman in Black? I don't know. I'm curious.
If he does the Woman in Black, that like I could see him knocking that one right out of the park.
Yeah, what'll that be? The Haunting of Marsh Manor, I think that's what that was called. Like,
we'll have to see on that.
Oh yeah.
For now, we'll stay in Netflix because I really want to talk about this next movie, the latest in Adam Sandler's Happy Madison Netflix deal. This is Hubie Halloween. Now I don't know how well versed you guys are in Adam Sandler's films from the 90s, but like in my opinion, this movie is about as good as as some of his later films, like The Waterboy, or yeah, like this movie feels like it was written around the same time as.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you guys seen any of these other Netflix movies, or is this the first one that you've actually given a chance?
First one for me.
I have multiple.
It's my first one just because such horrible reviews for some of his other movies, like The Ridiculous Six. That turned me off from that sort of thing. And plus, I'm not generally a fan of that style of comedy. I just think it's kind of a little pedestrian. But I was willing to give this one a watch though, just for the podcast.
Yeah, Ridiculous Six is probably the worst thing he's done for Netflix.
I remember there was a story where there were Native Americans that were extras in the movie, and they were so offended by the jokes they were making, they walked out of the set.
Yep, that sounds like the movie.
Yep.
Which I think that came out literally the exact same week as The Hateful Eight. Yeah, I wonder why with that name.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same week, but it was the same month.
Oh, really? Oh,
but still, not good.
Yeah, it gave me a very distinctive mockbuster feel, except it's on Netflix instead of the Sci-Fi Channel. That one was not great. His other Netflix films like Murder Mystery, not as bad, not fantastic, but they're watchable.
Yeah, I've heard that Murder Mystery was the most okay before Hubie Halloween.
Yep, like the movie is all right, 6 out of 10, passable. It exists.
Actually, I gotta say, I will say I actually did quite enjoy this movie, Hubie Halloween, just because it reminded me of, more than anything, was Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
It definitely has that sort of like that Ernest like that yeah, that
goofball
Ernest
who has to save Halloween. The premise is that he plays a Canadian down on his luck guy who works at a bakery, and he is such a scaredy pants. He always gets pranked around Halloween to the point where he has a Swiss Army thermos, which he always has on him, where he gets out of every situation, which he uses to get out of every situation. And Halloween, he notices a lot of strange disappearances have been occurring, and he suspects it's all because of Steve Buscemi, who is his neighbor. He also suspects him to be a 400-year-old werewolf, and it's a bunch of like crazy hijinks that happen as he's trying to piece together what's going on around him. And I think what sells this movie is because he plays such a sweet character. It's honestly really impossible not to love him. Yeah, he's just such a good-hearted guy, honestly. And they do make some kind of obvious jokes at the expense of his accent, I guess, because like one of the first gags is that he's trying to explain what's going on to Kevin James in the opening. Kevin James, who is a cop, Kevin James, he rolls up the window, and then like it's just, you can still see his mouth over it, and he's still kind of speaking that crazy like Canadian accent, like I'm Canada, yeah, but it's like a Canadian accent, and it's focused on his mouth as he's talking like that. And there's some other Adam Sandler, the Happy Madison group that's in this movie, like Rob Schneider and who else? Any other
Steve
regulars?
Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi mentioned that. Which,
Tim
by the way,
Meadows.
is that a reference to when he played a werewolf in the Hotel Transylvania movies?
Maybe
It could have been.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all.
Honestly, at a point,
Yeah,
I was almost wondering, was he playing the same character he played in Monster House?
yeah, and this is like a prequel or something.
That would actually make a lot of sense.
Is Keenan Thompson, is he prevalent in Adam Sandler movies?
Nah, I don't think so.
Well,
Not
this, I think
to my
there's a lot of
knowledge.
okay. Well, Rob Schneider, it also has Ray Liotta is in it. Maya Rudolph, June Squibb plays the mom, his mom, and this movie, it has so many groaner jokes, but you just can't help but smile at them. You know, like they're just so juvenile, but they just work. Like this one after this one kid who tries to prank him after he gets kidnapped, he suspects that Steve Buscemi got him, and he transformed into a wolf. And he sees the Siberian Husky, and he thinks that's Steve Buscemi as the wolf, and then the dog, he starts eating his own shit. He said, "Is that the boy in your feces?"
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes like that. Also, a lot of dad jokes to the point where I'm like, you wouldn't get this, but there's a character in Bly Manor that makes nothing but dad jokes. This would be like if that guy starred in the horror show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say this is like the best comedy of the year, because there are a lot of like the like a lot of those like groaner jokes, and there's plenty of gross out humor just for the sake of it. But at the same time, um like the real strength of this movie is how much it, like how authentic it feels to like
90s.
Halloween in this particular small town.
Yeah,
Like,
it's in Salem, Massachusetts. It's the Salem. That's where it takes place.
Yeah, and Salem's a perfect setting for the story.
Yeah.
Because you know they'll be going all out for Halloween.
Yeah, it just, yeah. Honestly, it just kind of brings you back to those movies from the 90s where, you know, a lot of crazy stuff are happening around this particular holiday, and it's up to the main characters to save it, basically. And I think that's what kind of works about it, is that it just kind of has that, you know, that charm, you know, that seasonal charm.
Yeah, I'll call it 90s plot. Like, I genuinely want to track down, was this script written in like 1994? Because I would believe it.
Well, the only thing that's solve that is that the fact that all the girls in this movie are dressed up like Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They do make some easy references.
And
like
I'm
that.
not talking about Batman the Animated Series Harley Quinn, like the recent Margot Robbie one.
Oh yeah. Like that, they even make a joke that like 3 different news reporters have all dressed as Harley Quinn.
Well, hey, I've seen enough conventions where that's not too much of an exaggeration.
Now there's one cameo that we see in like the first 5 minutes. I'm wondering if I should spoil that or not.
It's not really spoiling if it's like in the first 5 minutes, I don't think.
Yeah.
But if you're a Billy Madison fan, then you should be very happy to see this guy showing up again.
I sure was. Billy Madison's arguably his best film, that or Happy Gilmore.
I'm sorry, I meant Happy Gilmore, not Billy Madison. Which I think is a little bit funnier.
That's true.
Oh, but there is a Billy Madison reference for one of the characters with a last name O'Doyle.
This is our movie where I almost expected someone to bring back the whole "it's like, and God have mercy on your soul." That probably would have fit in this movie too.
Yeah. Yeah, actually we should mention one of the actors who was going to be in this movie was Cameron Boyce.
Yeah.
The Disney Channel star, but sadly he passed away. There's actually a very sweet tribute to him at the end. I should say, it was very He's generally regarded as a very nice, down to earth guy, I think.
Oh yeah, everyone makes fun of him as a clown and not a good actor. Well, one of them's kind of true, the other one not. But he's a really good guy, and you can clearly tell with the end credits, like, yeah, that actually was a little bit more hard hitting than I would have thought.
Remember when he did a Netflix comedy special, and he did an entire song dedicated to Chris Farley?
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot he did that. Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't think I ever saw the whole special, but I watched the clip of him singing that song, and yeah, had to fight back some tears, and seeing the like the in loving memory of Cameron Boyce at the end of this, that was sweet.
Yeah,
That was sweet.
like the movie and stuff. It's sweet. It's not terrible. It's definitely above the two grown-up movies or that Pixels film from like 5 years back. Definitely better than that.
Yeah, no, this like I said, this feels like a movie that Sandler would have made right after like The Water Boy.
Or Big
it has
Daddy.
that, yeah, or Big Daddy. It has that like earnestness to it.
Yeah.
The only thing that generally surprised me was Drew Barrymore didn't play the love interest in this one.
Yeah, that I would have bet on that.
Instead, it's Julie Bowen is her name.
Yeah, from Modern Family.
I liked Julie Bowen in that role.
Yeah, although it just kind of look a little bit like Drew Barrymore a few times, to the point where I'm like, is this like a discount? They couldn't get Drew Barrymore, so they went, okay, let's get someone who vaguely looks similar.
And also, Shaquille O'Neal is also, and he was also in the trailers too, so I don't think that's spoiling anything. It's a pretty funny role for how just cringe-inducing that this joke is. You just can't help but chuckle at it.
Yeah, that joke was so terrible. It kind of almost reminded me of the Jack and Jill stuff with Al Pacino, where it's like, this is so bad, it kind of crosses over into being hysterical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Say hello to my chocolate blend.
Jack Pacino. Oh my god. Oh, they probably should have took his Oscar for that one.
Yeah, they even they even have a bit, and then an admittedly funny joke in that is when Jill, she knocks down Al Pacino's Oscar while they're playing golf in the house. She says, "Oh, don't worry, I'm sure you have plenty of those." And he's like, no, not really."
That movie's one of the worst movies ever made. But you know what? It's so bad it's good at certain points.
Yeah.
One last thing I have to say about Hubie Halloween is that this almost proves that I think Adam Sandler was bluffing when he said if I don't get nominated for Uncut Gems, I will make a movie so bad on purpose.
Yeah, no. This does not strike me as unintentionally bad or intentionally. It's no.
Right. I still hope he goes by that and makes a movie that makes Jack and Jill look like Punch Drunk Love.
Jack and Jill 2?
Yeah.
You'd have to try to make a movie worse than Jack and Jill.
Exactly, and I hope he delivers.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, if you tried so hard, it would probably be more entertaining, because I feel like you can't actually make the worst movie ever by being intentional. You get Sharknado. You have to be earnestly terrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Hubie Halloween?
They kept changing the name. They're pretty sure they pronounce it Hubby Halloween at least 4 or 5 times. Like, what pronunciation? Whatever.
Yeah, it's a fun time. If you just want some 90s laughs, I'd say give this one a watch.
Yeah.
If you want to add another Halloween movie to your yearly watch through, this one definitely fits the bill.
Actually, what I hope for is can Netflix release this on VHS just like Stranger Things? Because that would feel really in character.
Oh my god, yes. I want like the VHS commercial and everything. Just give me the whole package.
Yeah, just give me all that 90s cheese. Just double down.
One more in the Netflix family. We have from Lorne Michaels, he produced Vampires versus the Bronx. Probably one of the biggest surprises of all the films that I've seen so far.
Pleasantly so.
Tyler, I'll start with you. Your general impressions of Vampires versus the Bronx.
With a title like that, I certainly had some expectations coming in. It reminded me of like an old like 90s like direct to video movie. I think it was called like Vampires versus the Bloods. Where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get some schlock, aren't I? Actually, it was a lot better than that. Surprisingly so. From like this movie probably should have had another title actually.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Attack the Block in some ways. Like when you have your core group of characters who are, trying to save their little corner from getting like completely overtaken by these vampires who like they portray themselves as kind of like a like an Italian mob, but obviously with supernatural abilities.
Yeah, again, that title sounds like it's going to be an absolute schlock fest, but it's not. It's actually with the comedy, of course, but it takes itself a little bit more seriously than I would have thought at times. Again, with a title like that,
it takes itself seriously enough that you care about these characters and you want them to win the day, but at the same time, like the my only one complaint is that I like the vampires could have been a little bit more intimidating, but they were still good for what this film was.
Oh yeah, and also I was very taken aback. This movie kind of has a bit of social commentary to it. That was the biggest shocker for me.
Oh, definitely.
It reminded me of like because I was in New York in 2019 before the pandemic hit, and I remember talking to this bartender. He's like, "Yeah, they basically have gentrified Harlem, and they're coming for the Bronx next." And then I watched the movie. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
That is, well, he wasn't lying there.
Nope.
The only part he left out was the vampires.
He was in on it.
Yeah. Maybe he's part of the Illuminati or something.
He was a vampire.
Yeah, what this movie, the best way I can describe this movie is imagine if Spike Lee directed a Goosebumps adaptation.
Oh my god, that's actually the perfect summary.
Yeah, that's surprisingly accurate.
But good,
because it does.
Spike Lee.
It did kind of give me Do the Right Thing vibes, actually.
Yeah, but it's good Spike Lee. Like it's like Defy Bloods and Do the Right Thing Spike Lee, not Summer of Sam Spike Lee.
Yeah, it's like the main premise is that there's kids. The main one is Miguel. He's putting up flyers for a block party to unite everyone in the Bronx. But there's a real estate company called Murnau Properties, which is actually a very clever to F.W. Murnau, the director of Nosferatu.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
Really, I didn't even catch that. It's a lot more clever than just spelling the name backwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one. Like Alucard is Dracula.
The Alucard Company. Oh my god.
Yeah, Alucard. Yeah. Definitely. And they discovered that this company is actually run by vampires who want to eat the flesh out of these citizens whose property they buy, so they can start taking over the Bronx and eventually the world, of course. And so it's up to these kids to stop them with everything they can get their hands on, including a Blade DVD for research.
I love that Wesley Snipes had a weird resurgence lately because of that, between this and his brief appearance on What We Do in the Shadows. He's coming back as Blade, baby.
Yeah, I like this movie because kind of like Hubie Halloween, it does have an earnest vibe to it. It kind of feels like there are these guys in the these people in the Bronx, they just want to make their own horror movie. And this was the result of that. Although, even though the cast consists of largely no-name actors, Zoe Saldana is featured in the mix, and she's been and the highest grossing movie of all time twice in a row, Avatar and Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, the two people I think I noticed the most was I believe Method Man was in there from The Wire, and I think Shia Wingham from the Boardwalk Empire. Those are the two people I caught. Everyone else, I had no idea who they were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shea Wiggum is the biggest actor. I mean, aside from Method Man, who actually sticks around, but
Yeah.
everyone else is like fairly unknown, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's good that like Lorne Michaels is a big enough name because of SNL that like he can pretty much sell this movie on his own name, and then like have like a bunch of no name actors play the main characters while filling the rest of the cast with a couple SNL alumni. You get Zoe Saldana to be the first kill.
Yep.
And then
yeah, when we say what she says she's in there, it's like saying, yes, Drew Barrymore stars in Scream.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's who she played. Yeah, I was kind of looking through. Her name's like. So wait, where is she? Because she died right before the credits hit. Actually, which
Yep. So
that was kind
spoiler.
of that was a rip off. So they got her just for that. She just said those lines. She got bit. She's like, okay, where's my check?
Send it to my landlord.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a cute movie. I this movie, you do get a sense of uniformity among these kids and their environment, and it wasn't just the gentrification that they were tackling. They were also talking about gang membership. Like one of the kids, he's constantly tempted to join this one gang to rob a convenience store that's basically kind of like the backbone for this community.
Yeah.
And granted, though, they don't really touch upon that very well. It doesn't exactly go that much anywhere, but it was nice of them that they could bring something like that up, because that is apparently a problem in inner city locations.
Yeah, and it's subtle social commentary. You'd think about it. It's like, okay, the bad guys are vampires who consume everything. That could be pretty blunt, isn't it?
Yeah, there was another detail that was a little bit timely, where they have like the evidence of Murnau's plan, but they're like, we should take this to police, and then one of the characters is like, you know that's not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
And then we
Oh,
find out
yeah.
later that the vampires pretty much have the police in their pockets.
Yeah.
When was this movie made?
Yeah. This
Yeah.
Yeah,
and apparently this was obviously this was made long before the recent outbreak of police brutality and such. So yeah, they definitely had their finger on the pulse of that sort of thing.
Yeah. Honestly, I have very few complaints. It's an absolutely charming film, and the only complaint is that title really gives you the wrong impression going in.
Oh yeah, like they could have called it the Bronx versus the vampires.
It's like, yeah, maybe you could have someone come up with like a vampire pun in the Bronx or something. Like, that title just is really cheesy.
Yeah, just it gives you the wrong idea, because it kind of felt like at first glance it sounds like you're going to be following the vampires as they fight the Bronx.
Well, in the sequel, maybe we can do Vampires Take Manhattan.
that might be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the whole, I really liked Vampires versus the Bronx. It's a fun comedy horror that if they ever do make a sequel of this, or this becomes like a series, I would honestly be all for it.
Yeah, a solid recommendation. I quite enjoyed it, much to my chagrin.
Recommendation for me too.
And that takes us to the end of the Netflix section. We now have the rest of these films are part of Amazon Prime's Welcome to the Blumhouse anthology.
Welcome to the Blumhouse. Yeah. We got thrills and games.
Do we?
Now where to start? You know what? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. We'll start with The Lie.
What an accurate title.
Yeah. This movie premiered at TIFF 2 years ago. And it's actually an American remake of a German film that also premiered 3 years before that at TIFF called We Monsters. And the premise of this one is you have a father and a daughter. They're on the way to some dance retreat or something. They stop to offer a friend a ride, and from there, that's when chaos ensues. To put it, for lack of a better term, chaos ensues after this incident. Jacob, I'll start with you, since you seem to be the most positive about this film.
Yeah, actually, it was just I thought the acting was decent. I thought I thought a nice atmosphere to it. I liked how it was about this family as they tried to, because this family, they've had their ups and downs, to say the least. Didn't they have a divorce before all this happened? And they were, and now they were just barely coming back together as they're trying to cover the daughter's her crime, essentially. And they try to insist that to themselves that it was just an accident when she pushed this girl into a river, but she keeps insisting that no, actually it was on purpose. And it's a very complex sort of family dynamic that goes between these three. And I liked how it kind of explored, how far parents will be willing to go to help their daughter, despite how spoiled she's been up until now. And it is kind of a revealing look of how far spoiling your kids can go, I think. So I thought it was a nice mood piece. I personally thought so. So why did you guys hate it so much?
Tyler, I'll let you start.
Actually, I'm gonna let you go first, because I have pretty much the same opinions of you, just not as extreme.
I think the one we'll get to the twist in a minute, but generally speaking, the only reason I really wasn't enjoying this movie is because I've seen these sort of like cold thrillers before.
Yeah,
it's nothing new. They pull a lot of the same tricks. The parents are divorced because that adds more tension to the plot.
Yeah, it's very I'm just gonna call this a Jurassic World syndrome.
Basically, yeah. There's no other reason that these two need to be divorced other than to create tension while they're both trying to cover up for the daughter's mistake.
It did kind of remind me of Defending Jacob, that Apple TV Plus series. Yeah, actually one of the few TV series I've actually had a chance to get myself in. And I meant that in a good way, honestly. I liked I just liked how low key this was compared to the other movies of this anthology. It did feel like it was based off a European film, and to be honest, maybe it would have worked better if I saw that film instead. But this movie does take some twists and turns that generally surprised me, especially towards the end. And I thought it was I just thought it worked for what I was trying to do.
All right, I guess I should just say it. I hated the end. I hated the ending of this. I had Rebecca or Kayla, that's her name, had Kayla actually killed her supposedly best friend, you know, I had she actually committed the crime, um, I I would have like been more invested in um seeing this family coming together under like the worst circumstances, but but then when they reveal that it was all just like a prank, essentially, it took any goodwill that the film had and just pissed it all away.
Oh yeah, that was awful. Like that pulled me back all the way to the 80s. Like, does anybody remember a movie called April Fool's Day? It pulled me back all the way to that.
Well, I think the thing about that was that it gave a new meaning to the title, "The Lie," which uh, I thought, like the whole point of it, I thought was that them trying to cover the parents trying to cover up the daughter what she did that brought them together. Like she even says that she was concerned spilling the beans and just telling them, but she heard how close they were when they were trying to come to her defense. And I think that says a lot about how much she was willing to cover up to keep this charade going, just to be a family again. I thought that had some kind of subtext to it.
And I'll also add that the parents were probably the worst parents I've seen in a movie since, oh god, does anybody maybe remember that Halle Berry movie Kidnapped? It was like that level of terrible.
Oh yeah, I saw that. These two movies are about as disposable.
Yep.
I feel like I'm missing something now, I guess. I mean, at this point, like, it is kind of hard for me to defend this now because you guys have such strong opinions of it.
Well, I don't hate it as much as Michael, but I'm like, it's not a movie I would go out of my way to go, yeah, you guys, you gotta see The Lie.
I will give it some credit. I think Joey King does a great job
Yeah.
playing this character who
Yeah.
has basically been spoiled her entire life, and like even as like a 15-year-old, she is still just like she kind of expects things to go her way all the time. And it's always nice to see Peter Sarsgaard showing up in anything. He's one of those solid character actors who you can depend on.
Yep, and he is reliable on this one. He did not drop the ball.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a sucker for this sort of soft, like, slow burn thrillers. I guess maybe.
Yeah, it did. Did this movie remind anybody of like A Simple Plan a little bit?
A little bit.
Which I love that film, but I can understand why someone would like that. Yeah, you're right. It's a slow burn.
If this is like your first slow burn thriller, then
it's not it's not, but it's just something that personally thrilled me. I also like its kind of snowy atmosphere. I just thought that kind of added to the bleakness of it all, and I just thought it was a nice atmospheric movie.
It was decently shot.
Yeah, the cinematography was okay. Honestly though, the more I kept watching this, the more it reminded me of the Snowman from a few years ago.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So-
Well, okay, it's not that bad.
You
No,
could have saved her.
I gave you all the clues, Mr. Pulley. Did you actually see it? I think today, like, someone did a freaking like dub of that movie. Yeah, it's like a music video.
Oh god.
Yeah, Snowman. It's eternal. This movie was produced by Martin Scorsese. Please remember this.
But yeah, the lie was not a favorite of mine. Definitely my least favorite of the four.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I'd say if you're into that sort of thing, give it a try. I think it's possible you could be pleasantly surprised like I was.
Yeah,
Maybe.
don't let our opinion.
Well,
like,
we
sway
kind
you.
of spoiled it already, you guys.
That is true.
Okay, we might have to include that in the show notes for this.
All right.
Oh, that there are spoilers. Yeah, should have mentioned that up top.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Moving up the quality meter is a a pretty trashy romantic thriller called Evil Eye.
Mm.
This is so the plot of this one is kind of fascinating. A seemingly perfect romance turns into a nightmare when a mother becomes convinced her daughter's new boyfriend has a dark connection to her own past. Yeah, so this one starts off with a flashback to when the mother, played by, give me one sec, played by Sarita,
Audrey.
yeah,
Chaudhry.
Chaudhry. Like her, like the start of the film flashes back to like when she was Pallavi's age, and it shows her getting abused by her, I guess, ex boyfriend or ex fiance, and then we cut to the present. Her daughter is living in New Orleans, and she moved back home to Delhi, and you've seen these kind of movies before where they like kind of
Yeah.
where they like they kind of go into like the cliche of Indian culture where like the parents are always trying to arrange they're arranging media like how should I put this?
Matchmaking.
Yeah, like the parents are always like trying to matchmake with their kids because
That actually is a real cliche in a lot of movies about India. It's like, we gotta
Yeah.
find a match for the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
although I kind of got a kick out of the twist they put onto this film. It's trashy, like I don't think this movie is any good per se, but it's very entertaining in its approach.
It is the equivalency of picking up a romance novel at a grocery store and just adapting that.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Apparently this was based on an Audible original audio play
I can tell.
by the screenwriter Madhuri Shekhar.
Yeah, it's pretty disposable. It feels like kind of just tacky in that regard.
The only thing of note is I can't wait for Nicholas Sparks to copy this in like 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the kind of story you'd see at a gas station, like a gas station novel.
Yeah, but back in my day, we used to call those page turners.
Yep. But yeah, this is definitely, it definitely has that trashy vibe, but I think it's there's a little bit of humanity in there. Like
the
I like the
like the
relationship between Pallavi and her mother.
Mhm. I liked the dad character too, I should say. Like he did kind of this like I did feel sorry for him as he was watching his wife become obsessed over the boyfriend, like, and he thinks that she's just overreading stuff, and she, like, he even says that in the beginning that astronomy is just a bunch of pseudoscience. No, astrology I should say is a bunch of pseudoscience. And yeah, she looks at horoscopes, she looks at like the energy that that this boyfriend had with her ex-boyfriend, and yeah, like, and you can see his world fall apart actually, and I did feel for him in that regard.
Yeah, his arc was I felt a lot of sympathy towards him. Like like you said, everything around him is kind of crumbling. Um like he's at home while his wife Usha is like she's not quite feeling herself. She never really leaves the house. Um she seems more paranoid ever since these two got together. Now what do you guys think of the boyfriend?
I thought he was a charming actor. I thought
Yeah.
he was delightfully villainous.
Yeah, he was charming. He was fine. He wasn't
Slimy.
terrible. Yeah. Another way to put it.
Yeah, I liked him just enough. Like he struck that nice balance between between someone who genuinely wants to be with Pallavi, but he could in a second he can also turn on the creep factor.
Mhm. Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Would you guys say that this was at least an interesting look at Indian culture and beliefs?
I don't know how accurate it is, but it was interesting, I suppose.
Mm.
I mean, outside of the supernatural element, this is probably as accurate as you're gonna get. The only other point of reference for like this specific aspect of their culture is um, in the Big Sick they made like they kind of made that into a subplot for Kumail Nanjiani's character, but they didn't really dive into that like as much.
Right.
One thing I kind of love, and probably not for the right reasons, is the climax of this film, because it just goes completely off the rails.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a movie where it's I'm just gonna call this a dog eat script movie, because at a point it's like, okay, whatever idea we had originally, that went out the window. Let's just crank that knob.
Yep.
Because so far it sounds like a Nicholas Sparksian sounding romance film about Indian culture, and then it just becomes supernatural.
Yeah.
Just because.
Mhm. Yeah. And anyway, it was an entertaining little movie. I thought, just if you just want to watch it for just trashy reasons, I guess that's the most backhanded compliment I can give it.
It's enjoyably trashy, is what I'd say. I'd say I almost want to almost offhandedly recommend it just because of how trashy and enjoyable it is. It's not great, but it's not dull.
Yeah, this is one I kind of want to watch again um with friends, because it has that enjoyably trashy element to it that is it's too much fun to watch to really hate, but it's also not good enough to genuinely recommend.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Moving up the quality scale is the first of these four that I watched, Black Box. This was
Yeah.
this was the more sci-fi heavy film of the anthology. Jacob, do you want to describe this one?
Well, yeah, well, it's about a man who survived a car accident, but his wife didn't, and his daughter is trying to help him live a normal life. She basically becomes his guardian, and he feels helpless essentially, and then he comes across this psychiatrist or a doctor who offers to help him regain his memory by planting him in his memories, so he can recognize his surroundings more and such. And it turns out she has more ulterior more motives, actually, and it actually and he finds out that there's more to his past than he thinks.
Yeah, so of all the films, this one was the most interesting in terms of the questions it raises about identity, um, about living your life as two different people, um, and how how you how you recover from like a traumatic event, like a car accident. It's fascinating. Probably not perfect. This is one of those movies that definitely feels like it was from a first time director. In fact, all of these except for the lie are like from first time directors, which is pretty fascinating.
Huh.
Mhm.
Actually, really? I would not have guessed that.
It gives them a chance to like get their foot in the door.
Yeah. Also, first time directors are usually more over ambitious than not. And this is a case of being over ambitious, but that's not the worst thing you can do.
Personally, I would rather watch a film with too much ambition than not enough.
Without
And
question.
yeah, and there's a lot of ambition in this premise.
Yeah, it definitely is. It did remind me of Get Out, but like it is sort of like Get Out, and to some degree, wouldn't you say?
It's like Get Out, but with a more like a heavier sci-fi bent.
Yeah, there's not quite as much political commentary in this either.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It kind of like Get Out, but it doesn't really have like a much of a straight punch message. It's more of a general concept movie. Like, okay, here's some topical concept, but they don't really dive into it super hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's my biggest issue. It raises a lot of interesting questions, but by the end, like you're not really left with the most satisfying answers. Um,
right.
and I don't think there was quite enough um substance in the story, um, to give us any more of a uh like a strong recommendation. But there's a lot of like there are a lot of elements to this I really liked. For example, I think the actor who played the main character, Nolan Wright, his name is um Mamoudou Athi.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
that performance was excellent. And I thought the daughter was good too.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to find a really good child actor in this day and age. Like one that's especially good, I think.
Yeah,
Because
we
they tend to have less experience than adult actors.
yeah. This month basically struck gold with the two kids from Bly Manor, and then left it at that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I also think it's kind of cool that Claire Huxtable is the one who plays Dr. Brooks. Yeah, that's Felicia Rashad, best known for her role in the Cosby Show.
Mm,
Yeah, that was an interesting casting choice.
yeah.
Well, what I will say about the movie is, again, with the critiquing of titles lately, can they just call it something else other than Black Box? Because there's like about 15 other movies, and I think like 3 TV shows with that exact same title. So you just type that into Google. I'm not quite sure you're gonna find this on the first hit.
Yeah, I had to search for this directly on Prime Video, because otherwise, like, it would have gotten lost in the Google search.
Yeah, it's like, no, I didn't mean to look for the 2013 Kelly Riley TV show. No, I don't want that black box.
Um, on the whole, so far, we'll get to Nocturne in a minute, but on the whole, something I have liked about the Welcome to the Blumhouse anthology is that no two films are alike. They
Right.
each bring something different to the table. Um,
Mhm.
whether it's different genres or like different ethnicities like taking the lead role. It's refreshing to see this much variety.
They're theatrically though they are thematically though they are the same because they all consist of family dynamics and family issues.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's what they
yeah.
were going for when they united these movies together.
Now this is supposed to be an 8-film like anthology, so I'm really curious when we'll see the next 4 after this.
Probably next Halloween.
That's a safe guess. But don't worry, Blumhouse always gets its way.
That it does.
Yeah.
And any final thoughts before I move on to the last film in this anthology?
I'll say this, which is to any upcoming filmmaker: don't be afraid to be overambitious on that first film. Most will be sympathetic if you try a little too hard the first time round.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. I would rather you take a big swing and miss than basically just bunt and walk.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good metaphor.
That's actually perfect. Yeah, you didn't hit a strike, but you didn't hit like nothing. It just the ball went somewhere.
So now we head to my favorite of the 4. This is Nocturne, and the best way that I can describe this film, before I read off the plot, is that it's basically Black Swan, but for musicians as opposed to ballet. So as children, twin sisters Juliet and Vivian love playing the piano. By the time it comes to graduate high school, and as the final performance of the year beckons, Vivian's achievements have overshadowed any hopes and aspirations Juliet may have had. For Juliet, living as an understudy to her sisters meant seeing her dedication go unrecognized, while Vivian flirts with the adulation of her tutors, cohorts, and sexual conquests. With her self-confidence plummeting, Juliet happens upon the diary of a recently deceased classmate. This discovery sets off a chain of events which seemingly begin to swing the pendulum her way. Boy, this movie. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say it's a film that is not short of ambition by any stretch of the definition. Tyler, I'll start with you. What did you think of Nocturne?
I think I would agree with you. I thought this was my favorite of the 4. It's not a masterpiece like Black Swan, but I think it's very comparable and it's very well done if you're into music, which I am not part of the music industry, but I have had I was almost a drummer once, so I guess I can kind of relate a little bit. What I'll say first off is for anybody who wants to see, like, oh, I can't wait. Who's in that movie? Nobody. Not really. I think the most notable cast member is the lady from the first couple seasons of Dexter. She's in there somewhat.
Oh, Julie Benz.
That's it. Julie Benz, that was her name. Also from Angel. But the main cast members, the 2 sisters, I can't say I've seen them in anything.
I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that. What you know Vivian from a few films. You would know her as Bethany from Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
That's who that was. Oh my
really?
God. What?
Yep.
Okay. I'm genuinely stunned here. She did look at all similar.
It's before they go into the game.
Jeez.
She also played, like, I guess, the older sister in Goosebumps 2: Haunted Halloween. And she was in Annabelle Comes Home.
Where wasn't I?
I always mix up the Annabelle movies, so that one's not really helpful. But I remember Bethany, so I'm like, oh wow, that's the same actress.
Yeah. I was a little bit taken aback too, like before I turned on the film, but then I watched it like, oh my god, no, she's like she actually gives a really good performance in this. Both the leads do.
Yeah, very much so. Those two leads are, I think, the best part of the movie.
Yeah, their chemistry and their relationship really drives the narrative. I thought it was really fascinating seeing Juliet's seeing her descent into gel, like she starts off like obviously feeling like deflated and feeling a little jealous, but then she finds the notebook and basically makes a deal with the devil.
Practically, yes.
Yeah, the whole movie is like I'm gonna just call it a very loose adaptation of like The Devil Went Down to Georgia, where it's like you made that bargain, things are gonna get down now.
Yeah, it certainly has those like Faustian elements to it.
Yeah, very much so. And also, if you had a sibling that, the whole prodigy sibling thing with, oh, my brother got to do everything but me. It's like, yeah, you'll relate to that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there are elements of that I relate to a lot. I for like 10 years, I actually did take piano lessons. Well, all three of us did, and I never really felt I never really felt like jealous or overshadowed by my brothers. I understand that sort of feeling. Also being the middle child in I have often felt overshadowed in other areas. So I kind of understood a lot of like the emotional turmoil that these two are going through.
It is a tragic story in that regard because their sisterly relationship is kind of tested when she gains this knowledge. She tries to basically one up her sister. It is kind of sad in that regard. Trying to for them just drifting apart as they become more and more into this music, and they're becoming the best piano player they can be.
Plus, this really kind of takes a darker look at how competitive these these prestige music schools and the competitive side to being like the best musician. This really kind of it feeds into that the dark competitive nature of everything you need to sacrifice in order to become the next Mozart or I don't know, some other
next Beethoven.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of every so often when 60 Minutes has some music prodigy, they'll always go, how do you feel being the next Mozart? And they always give that answer every single time. And it just annoys me to the point where you can't, does everyone have to always be compared to Mozart?
Yeah.
And then there's a dark competition thing. Actually reminded me of the recent little fight between well, not so much between, but with the musician David Crosby not much caring for the late Eddie Van Halen. That's what this reminded me of. It's sort of, yeah, even when you're good, people will just always criticize you no matter what. Yeah, like that sort of competition to the extreme. So yeah, this movie's very competition, sibling rivalry, Faustian bargain. It's going through quite a few things.
Yeah. The cinematography in this is also just it's very very mesmerizing. Like I think this film looks the best out of the four.
Yeah, the cinematography
Yeah,
part that
that's
looks the most.
arguable.
It looks the most Black Swanish through cinematography. Very reminiscent of the way that movie was shot.
Yeah, and also there were their teachers. They kind of get caught into this trauma as well. We should also bring up that they kind of get theirs for damaging these girls psychologically.
Yeah.
What's kind of funny is that for better or worse, one way that you can easily tell that this was written and directed by a woman, pretty much all the male characters suck in their own way.
Yeah.
I mean the best one is probably Max, because he did nothing wrong, but like the like both of their music instructors, Henry Cask, and I forget the name of the other one, but like they both like they pretty much just treat them like garbage, and then naturally they get their comeuppance.
Yeah, all the male teachers are just basically like Whiplash. They're like that type of teacher.
Pretty much, yeah.
Except they don't even have the good intentions of J.K. Simmons.
No, they're just mean.
Right.
Now what did you guys think of the ending?
So I was expecting the ending a mile away, honestly. It wasn't that much of a twist.
Yeah, it's not a very surprising ending to guess.
Yeah.
It was one of those inevitable endings, but I like the road that took us there.
Yeah, to me it felt less more like a twist and more like inevitability. Like, yeah, I know we're gonna get to this point eventually. It becomes more, instead of shock, it's more dread. Like, yeah, it's coming.
Although I will admit they had me for a second when they cut to, they cut to the dream sequence ending where it's the more optimistic view of how that evening went, as opposed to the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
That almost went like Kaufman-esque, where it's like, here's what you wanted. Not. Overall, I'd say, yeah, it was the best of the collection by far. The fact that this is apparently a first-time director is very surprising. Just like The Lie, but in a good way.
I would say generally this was a solid bunch of movies in their own way. Like, obviously, some aren't as good as others, but I thought this was a decent collection, a mostly decent sub franchise of movies.
Do you know this would have been? Actually, this just dawned on me. If this was made about 30 to 40 years ago, this would have been like that Tales from the Crypt movie, where it's just like 5 short horror stories in like one movie.
Yeah.
It does kind of feel like that, except obviously this is more expanded.
Fleshed out,
but they're all feature length chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also also like those anthology movies like Creepshow or Twilight Zone the movie, except no one died during the production of any of these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it exactly. It's like those anthology movies. Some are better than others, but overall it's a fun package and it's worth recommending.
Yeah. Even The Lie, and I'm sorry guys, but I do think that it was decent.
No, don't apologize.
Yeah, we all have our own tastes.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally though, I am the most interested in what writer and director Zoo Quirky, I don't know if I said that right, but I am definitely interested in what she has cooking up in the future, whatever she plans to do.
Yeah, that's another name I'll put on my Rolodex of, I want to see what she's doing next.
And that goes for the directors of any of these 4 movies, yes, including The Lie. I want to see these filmmakers like continue to thrive in the industry.
It was cool of Jason Blum to give them that chance.
Yeah, I'm happy that Jason Blum came up with this idea for Prime Video.
Yeah, in between making Halloween movies now.
Yeah. Now there's one more film that we need to talk about, and this is the most recent release. We have a new adaptation of Roald Dahl's novel The Witches, this time directed by Robert Zemeckis. Jacob, I'm gonna start with you on this one. First of all, have you ever seen the original?
I have not.
Okay, neither have I.
I actually have.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
So The Witches is about a boy who loses his parents and is taken in by his grandmother. And the boy comes across a woman who tries to tempt him with candy. And according to the grandmother, oh, by the way, the grandson and the grandmother, they don't have names throughout the entire thing. She is familiar with this scenario. She lost a friend to a witch. Her friend was transformed into a chicken because she accepted candy from a witch. And so she takes the boy to a hotel where they will be safe. But little does she know that there is a society to allegedly protect children from harm, who are actually a band of witches who wish to turn all the children of the world into mice. And the boy becomes a victim of that plan, and he and two other mice children must find out a way to stop them from carrying out this dark plan.
Yep, that's exactly what the movie's about. And if you've seen the original, that's actually roughly the same plot.
With at least one significant difference.
Yes.
I may not have seen the original film or read the book, but I'm aware that for this film they took a pretty hard left by setting the story in 1968 Alabama and casting an African American to play Hero. Yeah, his name is literally Hero.
Boy. Which was also the name of the kid protagonist in the other Robert Zemeckis movie, The Polar Express.
Yeah, it's almost like he has a default name.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine if Marty McFly was named
Hero Boy? Yeah, actually they do throughout the movie, they actually do because they never say each other's names strangely, like they have this weird way, like when he's a mouse, he goes up to her and says, "Hey grandma, it's me, your grandson."
Which is
not his name, but your grandson.
It's weird because the book and the 1990 film, the characters had names.
No, I don't think they didn't in the book. I don't think.
No, like
in the 90s movie they did.
His name was Luke. Yeah, I think his name was Luke, wasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't read that book in a long time.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting choice to set it in 1968 Alabama. Probably would not have been liked by Roald Dahl, but then what the heck would he have liked?
Yeah. Isn't he the same Roald Dahl? Like, didn't he refuse to have Charlie in the book be African American? Actually, didn't he? Like, wasn't there a story that broke out that there was suggested that he would make him black, but he just refused to?
Possibly. I know he was very adamant you will never adapt the glass elevator. I know this was one of the last films he actually saw before he died. He hated it because of course he did. I think the closest thing was what was the stop motion one that Henry Selick did in 92? That was the closest thing to a movie he ever liked.
In 92?
Was it 92? It was the Henry Selick stop motion one, James and Giant Peach.
Oh, that was 90, either 96 or 97.
96.
Yeah, that was it. 96, 97. His wife said, "I'm pretty sure you would have loved it," which is about the closest we'll ever get to a movie that Roald Dahl liked.
Yeah, the animated one. Yeah. Yeah, what he hated the Nicholas Rogue 1990 movie because the children didn't stay mice. They were turned back to kids.
Yeah, which actually I was told that was originally filmed as an ending, but that tested so poorly with test audiences that they went, let's make it a happy ending.
Okay,
No, actually, no. I'm reading this. Apparently, it was his intention to make Charlie black, but it was persuaded just to make him white. Actually, so I don't think he was formally against that, but I know that he did say some kind of ugly anti-Semitic comments.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up because this is a book that if you look at it the wrong way, you can kind of the world's run by hook-nosed creatures that don't look like they're human. I can kind of see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of that like reading into that paints this story in a very ugly light.
Yeah, which is why it's much more intriguing that this movie's set in 1968 Alabama, because that's about
and is
180.
And is narrated by Chris Rock.
Yeah, Chris Rock, and the best actress is probably Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, it's Octavia Spencer. Yeah.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have not liked it, but it's an interesting choice to stand out from the 1990 film, which most people probably remember because of Angelica Houston as the Grand High Witch, who was absolutely fantastic. She always is.
I would say I don't think it's fair to compare Angelica Houston to Anne Hathaway because
no,
right.
They're not play character, not even the same universe.
But I still absolutely loved Hathaway's performance because
good lord.
Because she basically gets to throw caution to the wind and ham this thing up to 11, and it's glorious.
The first time you see her, she has like this ridiculous dress with like long like gloves and like a see-through hat, and I'm like, yep, this is the level we're gonna be dealing with all the whole way.
She's like Glenn Close in 101 Dalmatians,
except even more ridiculous.
Oh no! I mean, no. Actually, no. I take that back. Glenn Close was subtle compared to this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my favorite review was like a guy on Twitter who just said, "Wow, I never knew Anne Hathaway became a camp queen overnight."
Right. No.
Yeah, I for one welcome our new camp queen overlord.
Oh, absolutely. This is so. To quote I think it was like the late Roger Ebert said this, like, she didn't just eat the scenery, she kind of went from side to side just devouring everything in sight.
Yeah, it was like Thanksgiving dinner to her.
Yeah, everything's a turkey. She's just gonna just dig in and just like, whoa, she commits.
Yeah, she does.
Unfortunately though, we're spending so much time talking about Anne Hathaway because despite the departure from the source material, honestly, there's not a whole lot really to talk about. At least,
not really, no.
At least on my end.
Yeah, they didn't do much with that 1968 time period as much as I would have thought.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I think if I was a kid, if I saw this, I would have loved it.
Yeah. I agree with that. If I saw this growing up, this would have been on constant rotation. Probably as much as stuff like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or The Wizard of Oz or any of those other any of those other kids film staples.
I don't know if I would go that far as a staple, but I'm like, it's the sort of movie that if it had been made in the 90s, like the original, people would definitely remember it. But in the same way, people remember like Mommy Dearest, where it's like, wow, what that performance.
The Witches. Okay, I gotta say, the last big adaptation of a Roald Dahl book was Spielberg's The BFG. All right,
I like that one quite a bit.
Actually, the only thing about that was that it was a very soft version of a Roald Dahl book. It wasn't quite as dark as they thought. Like Spielberg just kind of removed the edges from the book. It didn't feel fully Dahl, but This one more than makes sense. It is full blown Roald Dahl. I guess. I mean, just like the witches, they scared me as an adult. You know, like they have like Anne Hathaway. She has like this Heath Ledger Joker grin, and
which eventually turns into like a J-pop horror grin.
Yeah, and she has like what's cool is she has 3 fingers on each hand, and they kind of and the only 3 fingers are the thumb, the index finger, and the pinky. So it constantly looks like the Hail Satan sign.
I wonder if that's intentional.
And also, and her feet only have 1 toe on each, and a good one like there's like the way she talks, even she just goes completely insane. Like there's a part where she says "witches," and she sounds like a cat who's coughing up a hair, but it is just so scary.
That scene. I want somebody to play a clip of like her from like Meadows of Rob singing "I've Dreamed the Dream" next to that and say this is before, this is after.
Yeah,
Nice.
but you can tell she was having a ball with this.
Oh yeah, I love her design because it is something that's very something we haven't quite seen before.
And yeah, and also like even with the kids when they transform into rats, they have these gross purple like pimples on their faces before, and then their mouths, and then their teeth. They have like these buck teeth now, and they have the long nose, and it is generally disgusting watching the transformation. It's not like a puff of smoke and all of a sudden they're just rats and then they turn to mice under the heaps of clothing. No, they go full on with the transformations here.
I think my biggest criticism is as much as I love Robert Zemeckis, everyone knows that like Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit are some of my favorite films of all time, but I'm not convinced that he was the right pick to direct this one. I think
yeah.
I honestly feel like if Guillermo del Toro, who co-wrote the script by the way, if
that needs to be mentioned. Some of his ideas kind of bled through in the character design.
But I think if del Toro himself helmed the project, he would have added a little bit more grit to like the visual aesthetic. I like this just looks too glossy, despite how great the character designs are. I think the overall look of the film is a little too glossy for my taste.
Yeah.
For at least for what this film requires.
The glossiness might also be because of all the CGI, which is the hallmark of Zemeckis at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't look all that convincing, honestly. And honestly, when the mice when they're scurrying around, what I instantly thought of was Mouse Hunt. Remember that movie? Nathan Lane.
God, I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, especially Alan Silvestri. He does the score for this, and it definitely brought some Mouse Hunt flashbacks.
Yeah, the one thing that the 1990 film did objectively better was the effects, because that was all Jim Henson created.
Oh yeah, they were good. They were good.
Yeah, that was great too.
Yeah, and honestly, I loved the relationship between the grandmother and the grandson. Like it was the real heart of it. I thought.
Yeah,
it was.
She just takes him entirely under his wing, and when he's still down in the dumps over his parents dying, she puts on a record and she starts dancing, trying to cheer him up, although it doesn't work immediately, but it does work. I think he does start dancing with her later on. And, she tells him how, she's a woman who's very committed to her faith. Like she says, God has a plan for us. It's not always what we want, but we just kind of put faith in it, she was a very compelling woman. I thought she Octavia Spencer, she really held the movie together. I thought.
Yeah.
Spencer's one of those actresses that kind of like Peter Sarsgaard's character in The Lie. Spencer's one of those actresses who are like completely reliable for for this character.
That type of role, yeah.
Yeah. Also, she's starting to become a bit of a collaborative with Del Toro because she was also in The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water, yeah.
Yep.
Stanley Tucci, he was also in this. He played a bellhop. He played the manager of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was good, but he wasn't given that much to do, unfortunately.
No, but Stanley Tucci, he always makes whatever he has work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his character just fine. He does though look like a very comic book accurate depiction of Alfred.
Oh yeah, he did.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's got the accent down pat.
Yeah.
The southern accent.
Hmm.
Down pat. If a southern Alfred, that would be an interesting take.
Yeah, Southern Batman. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
To
Now I
Gotham's
really want to
Atlanta.
hear Alfred say, "All right, all right, all right," like Matthew McConaughey.
Oh gosh.
Get the car, sir.
Yeah, get the car. Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'm sure some Allsword story is gonna do that now.
Yeah.
Probably. Now what do you guys think of Chris Rock's narration?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, it was nothing like it was. Again, it's not really a voice I would associate with Roald Dahl, just because I think Roald Dahl is this kind of author whose books you have to read with a British accent.
Yeah.
Like, he does have that kind of nasty British sense of that very dry sense of humor, and although Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Wes Anderson movie, that was a largely American cast, and that worked fine, I thought.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not I'm not gonna turn away from like American voices in a Roald Dahl movie. I think Chris Rock did good.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, if we went by that, we really wouldn't have Anne Hathaway, and I'm not really sure I want to sacrifice that for anything at the moment.
Me
Except
neither.
she was doing like a German accent.
I don't even know what accent she was even going for.
Oh, that's a good point. It was just an accent.
It's like it's about as descriptive as like the Baroness from G.I. Joe. It's like, what accent is this? I don't know.
Let's just call it exotic.
Yeah, it's just nondescript.
Exactly.
So as far as your favorite Roald Dahl adaptations, I can't say this is one of mine. I think ones I'd put above it are like Fantastic Mr. Fox is probably the best. My personal favorite is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but that's just because it's one that I grew up with watching constantly.
It's a duel between those two. It's like, okay, do we want to be the Candyman, or do you want that bizarre little country song that was made up on the spot in the campfire scene? Mm-hmm. Both
and obviously number 3 has to be James and the Giant Peach.
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff.
There's quite a few Roald Dahl adaptations. They run the gamut of quality
by very different directors, like Danny DeVito for Matilda.
Yes, that one a lot of people like. That one's all right.
And Nicholas Roeg again for The Witches.
Which I'm not sure how to compare the two, because Angelica Houston was a lot more dignified than this, but can't lie. Just not giving a damn was kind of maybe more fun.
Yeah, and Tim Burton and for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, of course.
Oh yeah, that movie.
Oh, and if we're gonna talk about Roald Dahl, lest we forget, he wrote the screenplay for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, he did. And also, You Only Live Twice.
Yes, that was the most fun thing I found out once when I was doing research on James Bond. Like, that's not the same Roald Dahl. Oh my god, it is the same Roald Dahl. And then you think about it and you're like, you know what? It's a ridiculous movie about a guy who goes to a country he's never been before, and there's rocket planes and jets and giant volcano. Yeah, you know what? This makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Final thoughts on The Witch before we move on to, I guess, auxiliary recommendations before we head out of here?
I'm not sure how to compare this to the original because like they're going for completely different effects. I mean, I guess I might. See, I don't know. They're hard to compare. Actually, one's a dignified movie that's not quite close to the book, but it's good. This one, both in some ways closer, some ways further, but also maybe more memorable because nothing is quite like Anne Hathaway just going all ham.
Yeah, a lot of my recommendation for this film is hinges entirely on Anne Hathaway's performance.
Oh yeah, like if you don't like camp, stay away so far because you're not gonna like this from like the moment she steps in.
Well, although if you do think that she's too goody two shoes in her roles, she doesn't really venture forth. She doesn't really become edgy in any of them. Definitely check her out in this one because she more than makes up for that.
Oh yeah.
Like the next time I see some comment go, "Oh, Anne Hathaway plays the same character in every movie," it's like, roll the clip.
Watcha.
Yes, that is clearly Fatine.
Yeah, no, that's clearly the girl from the Princess Diaries.
Yes, of course, without question.
She certainly has come a long way since then.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, or even her version of Selena Kyle. It's like, no, just play the same role every time. Come on.
That's something I've always come to respect about Hathaway. Like,
I love her.
Contrary to somehow, the popular belief that she's like, I don't know, a tryhard.
Yeah,
I literally have no idea why people don't like her. But
I'm gonna need to bring that up because apparently there's a literal psychological term called the Anne Hathaway effect, which is you hate somebody for a nondescript reason which you cannot explain.
Right, exactly.
I make jokes all the time, like not even top scientists, like all the top scientists in the world cannot figure out why people don't like Anne Hathaway.
Like I see nothing to hate. She's charming. She's nice. She's beautiful. She's clever. What more do you want?
She has the voice of an angel.
Exactly.
She has maybe not the best version of "I Dream the Dream," but certainly the most emotionally resonant version. Like she can do it all and more. What more do you want from her, really?
Yeah, and if you want to see a very good example of more, yeah, the Witches has you covered.
Was there a movie where she was like had like a mental disorder that she was also really good in too? It's like I'm just thinking of all these roles she's played where I'm like, none of these characters are similar. That was with Jake Gyllenhaal. I forget the name of the movie.
Oh, probably. Hold on.
It's not Havoc, but it's like around that time period in her career.
Love and Other Drugs.
I think that was it. That was actually a really well done performance about a realistic relationship that has problems, and she's not always likable in it. That's a really not normal performance fire. So everyone who keeps saying she plays the same role, shut up.
Looking through her filmography, I don't really see anything that indicates other than like obvious sequels. I don't see any case of like her playing the same character.
No.
Right. Yeah. So my final thoughts on The Witches are that it's a good throwback fantasy movie. I think it was a very heartwarming and very bizarre, very dark movie. But what else would I expect from Roald Dahl? It's one of the most faithful in terms of capturing the spirit of Dahl. I think it does it better than a lot, even better movies that I personally enjoyed more than this, like Fantastic Mr. Fox. That was a very Wes Anderson movie too. It wasn't quite a Roald Dahl adaptation as it was a Wes Anderson movie, but this one was a Roald Dahl adaptation through and through, and you owe it to yourself to check this out on HBO Max.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit colder on this film only because I was expecting more from the collaboration of Robert Zemeckis and Guillermo del Toro, but as far as like sticking close sticking close to the book. Again, other than that one deviation, this is a pretty solid adaptation. I could see this one gaining a similar cult following as the 90s adaptation. And again, I cannot stress this enough. Anne Hathaway steals this movie like every second she's on screen.
Yeah, she steals the movie, she beats up everybody, takes their lunch money, and then spends it all and eats it again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, are there any other streaming titles that you want to quickly give a shout out to?
Other stream in terms. Well, we talked about The Host in the last Streaming Wars, and definitely give that one a watch. It's Unfriended done right, basically. It's on Shudder.
I saw that one a couple weeks ago, and wow, that movie rocks.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we mention I saw the recent Borat sequel this morning. Excellent
really?
movie, if you like the original.
I've been meaning to check that one out.
In some ways it's a retrend, in some ways it's not at all, and it still has all the same positives and negatives that you find in the original. So I consider that a win because I wanted more.
Is the Rudy Giuliani scene, is that scary enough for you though?
Yes, very, yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe they got away with something like that. That's like, wow.
That's the thing I will forever love about Sacha Baron Cohen is he always manages to trick people into doing things they really shouldn't be doing. If anybody saw that TV show he briefly had called Who is America, that was every episode. You got people to say something like, you really shouldn't have said that one, pal.
Yeah.
Or even just stick around. Like the one that killed me was he interviewed that politician Roy Moore, and then he just started bringing up, I have this device that can detect pedophiles. Anybody in their right mind should have then said, okay, I'm cutting the interview. the interview goes on for like a solid 5 more minutes.
Wow.
Where was he when Trump announced that he was running for president?
I don't know. He should have been doing something.
Yeah.
I believe in that same TV series, I think he actually got, trying to remember how this went. He got Dick Cheney to sign a freaking like waterboarding kit. Like,
What?
And he's playing these characters where he doesn't actually say he's like, I am first lieutenant of the Israeli commando unit, something name. And people just kind of believe him. That's the weirdest thing. He kept doing this over and over again. I don't know. After a while, you would think everyone would just catch on and go, okay, who's this weirdo? It's Sacha Baron Cohen, isn't it? But no, he tricked Sarah Palin. He tricked O.J. Simpson. He tricked Trent Lott, the former Senate Majority Leader. I don't know how he does it, but I love it.
He tricks everybody.
Yeah, and that's
why. Are you sure he didn't trick me at one point?
I don't know.
Maybe he tricked all of us and we just didn't know it.
Hey, it
was I'm Donald all along. Takes the mask off. The funny thing about this movie was that like it was like a few months back. It was like, oh yeah, we just reported some weirdos at CPAC hoggling people, and then it came out a week ago. Oh yeah, that was actually Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat.
Wow, I cannot wait to see this now.
Yeah, and this movie is brought back a favorite gift of mine, which is just suddenly announcing a project you had done months ago, and then just saying, oh, it comes out next week. I wish more people do that. That's really hard to do in the modern age.
Same. Yeah. All right. I think that takes us to the end of this episode. Thank you guys for joining us.
Okay. All right. Did you give a recommendation, Mike?
Oh, I haven't actually seen it yet, but a preview for our next Tuned Up. Cameron and I will be talking about the Netflix animated film Over the Moon, and we'll also be talking about the DuckTales special Let's Get Dangerous, and the Amphibia special Shut In. So if you're a fan of any of those shows, definitely tune in for the next Tuned Up. All right. Now before we go, where can everyone find you guys online? Tyler, I'll start with you.
Oh, well, start off, I write for a YouTube channel called Debunk File. It's a mystery-based YouTube channel that actually just had this video come out in the last hour. It's about the Zodiac Killer and was actually edited by our dear co-host Jacob.
Hello, shameless plug-in.
Yes, very shameless, but I have no regrets. And I'm also in an association with several history-based YouTube channels, including Toonshay Films and Cynical History. Specifically, Cynical History, I actually kind of work them sometimes. And I can be found in the Facebook group for this wonderful podcast every so often.
And Jacob, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Facebook. It's Jacob Crable, Krehbiel. I'm also on Twitter with that same name, and you can find me also in the Renegade Pop Culture fan group on Facebook.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CaptainK42. Check out all my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups, just at my name. Don't forget to check out Renegade Pop Culture on Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Check out our Facebook group and look for all our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can check out my show Fresh Takes on youtube.com/organoid0. And last but not least, check out renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we. That's it for this episode of the Streaming Wars. We will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Bye.
Fair.